Okay guys, so now we are looking at an exponential function, which is often a function that puzzles a lot of learners, right? So with this one, we're gonna start with q. Q moves the graph up or down. That's the same effect that it does on the hyperbolic function, and it's also an asymptote, right? If you can check on the hyperbolic, q is an asymptote. It's not touched. Also this side, our q is also an asymptote. It is never touched. Now the effect of a determines where the graph will be. If a is positive, the function will be above the asymptote. If a is positive, the function will be above the asymptote. All right? For instance, if I have a function, and maybe the q is here, this is my q, and the function must be above the asymptote. This is the asymptote. This is what I mean by the function must be above the asymptote. It can also come from the other direction like this. For both cases, the function is above the asymptote. The blue function is above the asymptote, and obviously the purple function is also above the asymptote, right? So when and in this case, my q is greater than 0, because you can see that q is positive, so it has moved up because it's positive. It's above the x-axis. Now when a is negative, let's do this. When a is negative, the function is below the asymptote. Remember guys, these are two different functions. It's not like it's the one function drawn in different directions. This is a complete it can be f of x, it can be g of x. So please don't confuse this and say this is one function. No, it's two different functions. Okay, so let's still maintain our q as positive. Now when a is negative, then we have this type of a function. Can pass here. So this is our exponential function. Okay. And then another one. Let me just draw them separately, because another student can think that, let's say on this one our q is negative. So this is my q. Q is greater than 0. And then that one came from that direction. So this one can come from this direction. Can come from this direction. So you can see the difference. This one is coming from the left to the right. That one is coming from the right to the left. Okay, so now we now come to the effect of B. Now when B when b is greater than 1, not greater than 0, greater than 1, that means when b is 1,5, is 2, is 2,3, as long as it's a number which is greater than 1, the function will come from the left, like this one. You see, for this one, it's coming from the left. When I say it's coming from the left, it means this space here must be smaller than this one here. Can you see that this is a higher space, but this is a smaller space? That's what I mean. So it's coming from the left going to the right. So for this function, my b is greater than 1. For this purple function here, my b is greater than 1. My b is greater than 1, because you can see it's coming from the left to the right. Okay, the difference between these two functions, is that the other one is above the asymptote and the other one is below the asymptote. And what makes it to be below the asymptote is because a is negative or positive. So what I'm saying is that if I have this function here, let's just say q equals to 0. Both these functions, this is f of x, this is g of x. Both of them, b is greater than 1, because this one is coming from the left to the right, this one is coming from the left to the right. But for this one, my a is greater than 0. For this one, my a is less than 0, because this one a is negative, this one a is positive. Okay, so for this one's b is greater than 1. Now the other condition is that when b is between 0 and 1, when b is greater than 0, no, b is greater than 0, but b is less than 1. Okay, b is greater than 0, b is less than 1. That means b between 0 and 1, but not equal to 0 or 1. B cannot be 1 and cannot be 0. Okay, so in that case, that means my b must be maybe 1 over 2, which is 0,5. 0,5 is between 0 and 1. 1 over 3, 1 over 7, those kind of numbers. But you must be careful. Sometimes they say 3 over 2. 3 over 2 is 1, maybe 5. So you can see that if it's 1,5, then it means my b is greater than 1. It falls under this category. So sometimes you must test your fraction. If they gave b in form of a fraction, you press it and check it in decimals, whether it's less than 1, it's less than 1, that is between 0 and 1, or what is the case. And b cannot be negative. And then now, in this case, if that is the case, then the function will come from the right. That means this type of a function. You can see this one is coming from the right to the left. It's coming from that direction to this direction. So here, b is greater than 0, but it's less than 1. Even this blue one here, b is greater than 0, less than 1, because it's coming from the left. So you can see, let me draw the last sketch here. If I have this function and I'm having third function. All of these functions, they're coming from the left, going to the right. No, they come from the right to the left, not to the... They will come from the right, yes. They are coming from this direction to that direction, so they split as they go. So for these functions, my b is greater than 0, but it's less than 1. Thank you, guys.